You're not blocked. You're just believing the wrong things about creativity, and those beliefs are killing your flow. Imagine sitting in front of an empty page, a blank canvas, a silent guitar, or a half-formed idea, and feeling nothing but dread. That moment when you tell yourself, "I should be further along by now," is the moment your spark dies. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover how shifting one simple belief can turn that terror into pure creative fuel. There's a quiet ache every dreamer feels. You know it well. You've waited for the magic to arrive, but when it doesn't, you scold yourself. You push, you force, you grit your teeth, and that's exactly when the well runs dry. It's not because you lack talent or passion. It's because you're demanding creativity to perform on command, like a dancer forced to move with arms crossed. But what if trying to force it is the very thing blocking you? Psychologist Carl Jung once warned, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." He wasn't just talking therapy. He was describing the act of wholeness, and that wholeness is the wellspring of genuine creativity. Creativity isn't a golden beam from above. It's raw, hidden, often messy, and deeply human. Yet we've bought into a myth that creativity must always be shiny, perfect, and uplifting. Could that myth be the very reason so many of us remain stuck? In this journey, we'll unpack Jung's radical idea of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we exile, judge, and bury. We'll see how welcoming those wounded, angry, sad pieces isn't just therapeutic, it's creative liberation. You'll learn why letting yourself feel grief, fear, envy, and shame can unlock ideas you never knew existed. We'll bust the myth that you have to invent something entirely new, and reveal how real creativity is simply rearranging what already lives around you. From the coffee cup on your desk to the echo of a childhood memory, every detail can ignite a masterpiece. We'll dive into the psychology of human needs, exploring why tapping into what people truly crave can spark endless stories, solutions, and works of art. But before we get to that, we need to honor the problem. It's sacred. Your blockage is the very place where transformation begins. So if you've ever felt unoriginal, uninspired, or too tired to care, stay tuned. What you'll discover might forever flip the way you think about creativity. Now here's a quick tease. Later on, I'll share a deceptively simple practice you can finish in 5 minutes that will open your creative floodgates. You won't want to miss it. But first, let's dive into why the pressure to be positive, to be perfect, to be impressive is the silent killer of creativity. There's a fog that drifts through the creative world, an invisible weight telling us, produce something worthy, something beautiful, something meaningful. We forget that this pressure is the persona Jung warned us about, the mask we wear to hide our true selves. And most of us unconsciously create from that mask. We ask, will this make me look good? Will this earn approval? Is this good enough? And in that exact moment, the wild, instinctual, chaotic parts of us, the real artists, retreat, because they know they don't belong in a place where perfection reigns. Jung called the hidden parts our shadow, the sadness we push down, the fear we deny, the shame we bury. In the world of creativity must be inspiring. These dark facets are banished, but genius lives in that banished territory. You want something original, something that cuts deep? Let your sadness whisper its secrets. Let your fear paint its portrait. Let the rage or the envy inside you bleed onto the page. Every song that drained your tears came from heartbreak. Every film that made you sob was birthed from grief. Every painting that dug into your soul was created by someone who abandoned pretense and embraced honesty. Here's a subtle trigger. The next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, what emotion am I refusing to feel? The answer might be the key you need. You don't have to draft an epic novel. Maybe your day was simply heavy, and that heaviness is your creative ingredient. Let that ache pour out in a poem. Let your voice crack in a song. Let your journal cradle the truth you dared not say aloud. That is art and alchemy. The block dissolves not by forcing yourself through it, but by leaning into what's authentic. Creativity is communion with yourself, not a performance for others. And when you create to be felt, rather than to impress, your work becomes both sacred and human. You don't need polish, you need presence. Now pause and be honest. Have you bought into the myth that creativity means pulling something out of nothing? That you must be a genius visionary to count as creative? That chasing original ideas is the only way? If so, you're not alone, and you're in the grip of one of the most damaging myths out there. Here's the liberating truth. Nothing you create is entirely original, and that's what gives it power. You and your story are woven from threads you've inherited. Family lore, cultural symbols, personal experiences. Jung labeled this the collective unconscious, a vast reservoir of shared dreams and energies. We don't create from ourselves. We create through ourselves. We're vessels, channels, filters. Creativity is about recognizing the puzzle pieces around you, then reshuffling them into something that bears your unique signature. Look around now. That notebook on your desk, that overheard snippet of conversation in the coffee shop, an old photograph, a trending video you secretly adore. Each is a piece. Mix them, reimagine, transpose them, riff on them. This isn't laziness, it's intelligence. It's what Jung described as individuation, the process of becoming a whole, integrated self. When you accept that the world is part of you and you're part of the world, you stop forcing and start playing. You transform observation into creation. And here's the mid-video invitation. If this message resonates, do me a favor. Hit like, share in the comments one thing you're going to try today, and subscribe so you won't miss the exact 5-minute practice I promised that will shatter your creative blocks forever. Every blockbuster film, best-selling book, revolutionary startup, or timeless poem began as a recombination of existing elements. Apple didn't invent computers, it redesigned them. Instagram didn't invent photography, it democratized sharing. Shakespeare didn't invent love stories, he reimagined them through his own lens. You don't wait for inspiration, you start selecting fragments, then remixing. You don't need a lightning bolt, you need curiosity and courage. So here's that deceptively simple practice. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Find a window, a street view, or just look at the wall. Don't aim to create. Don't grab your tools to be creative. Simply observe. Let your eyes drift without interference. Notice colors you've never named, small movements, absurd juxtapositions. Hear the soft hum of a refrigerator, the distant bark of a dog, the shuffle of feet. Feel the texture of your own breath. When the timer dings, open a notebook or your notes app. Write down exactly what you saw, heard, felt. No edits, no goal, no judgment. Describe the world as it reveals itself. Maybe you write, "The sky looks like unwashed porcelain, a dull grey that makes me ache." Or, "A stranger in a red coat stands alone, as if waiting for a conversation that will never come." Don't worry about crafting a masterpiece. You're simply capturing raw data. That data contains emotion, story, and the seeds of ideas. That is your unconscious speaking. That is creation in its purest form. Doing this daily rewires you to notice inspiration everywhere, dissolving the idea that you must find ideas. You realize you've been swimming in them all along. Now let's elevate your creativity from personal expression to purposeful impact by tapping into deep human needs. True creative breakthroughs resonate because they meet primal needs: to feel seen, to belong, to grow, to heal, to imagine something better. Jung spoke of archetypes, universal patterns and energies like the mother, the rebel, the seeker, the caregiver. Each archetype corresponds to a core desire. Every work that moves millions does so because it answers one or more of these desires. Think of your favorite song. It isn't just the melody. It's the feeling of understanding it gives you. Think of a viral video. It didn't go viral by accident. It struck a chord with a shared fear, longing, or joy. Think of a product that sold out instantly. It solved a need people couldn't articulate but desperately felt. So when you wonder, what should I create? Shift to asking, what does someone secretly need right now? Not the trendy thing, but the emotional or spiritual need. Perhaps people need lightness amid chaos. Make them laugh. Perhaps they need comfort in loneliness. Tell your struggle. Perhaps they need clarity in confusion. Share a framework. When you meet that need, your creativity becomes medicine, forging a palpable connection. You aren't just making content, you're weaving a lifeline. Here's a practical exercise. List 5 fundamental human needs: belonging, safety, laughter, meaning, novelty. Then brainstorm one small creative act that meets each need. A short story that affirms belonging. A guided breath exercise for safety. A funny skit for laughter. A poem for meaning. A fresh visual twist for novelty. See how simple gestures can resonate deeper than any forced attempt at brilliance. As you make these creative acts, remember, you don't have to be perfect or special. You just need sincerity and presence. Share your messy draft. Let your voice crack. Admit how hard it is to be vulnerable. That admission is the bridge that invites others in. Authenticity trumps perfection every time. We've come full circle. Jung taught that the journey toward wholeness is the journey of creativity. Creativity isn't a trophy or a title. It's a dance with your whole self, light and dark, conscious and unconscious. It flows when you abandon masks. It grows when you embrace your shadow. It thrives when you stop chasing originality and start playing with what already exists. It touches lives when you recognize your gifts can meet real needs. If you've watched this far, thank you. You've just taken a step toward liberating your creativity. Now, here's a final favor. Share one fear you're ready to feel and one need you're ready to meet in the comments. Hit like if you found value in this, and subscribe so you'll catch every deep dive into the art of being fully human. Now go out and make something real, no matter how messy, small, or uncertain, because somewhere, someone needs exactly that.